who have presented and joined this live Q&A session, as well as all of our attendees who have logged into this slightly later time slot. Thank you very much for giving up your time to join us. As you'll be aware, the theme of today's agenda is digital transformation of K-12 education. I'd like to firstly introduce Steve Budd from Code Avengers, who presented today on everything that's required to prepare today's students for tomorrow's opportunities. Steve is also joined by Miyuki, as well as his Code Avengers colleague Jordan, who will help to answer any questions that come their way during this session. Kia ora to the three of you. We then have Education Perfects Director Tim Vaughan, who showcased how to leverage technology in the education sector during COVID disruption, which was a really informative session. Kia ora, Tim. Great to have you with us as well. And last but not least, we are also joined by Saranga Nanayakara, an Associate Professor at the Auckland Bioengineering Institute at the University of Auckland. Saranga leads the university's Augmented Human Lab and has been developing some world-leading projects, including the Curious Learning Tool, which he presented today and is currently available for school students in New Zealand. Kia ora, Saranga. Now, I'm going to quickly skim through the Q&A box to make sure we've got all the answers or all the questions. There is a question, can you share the link for the Code Avengers session? If you weren't able to view the presentations earlier, they have expired, but they will be available later. So please do check into the website later and you'll be able to view those. The content will also be up for about 4 weeks after this event. But there are a question, I'll start with Saranga. There's a question here around the Curious project. There's a question around cost for a student or a teacher to access the Curious project, but are you able to share a little bit more information on how it's been accessed by schools in New Zealand and how it's potentially being accessed or distributed more widely across other countries?
Yeah, so I mean the project in the lab and the whole purpose was to democratize the access. So therefore, we are not trying to sell this as of now. All the schools in New Zealand who got this solution got it for free, funded by the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. So it's MBE funded project for the first round. We also have few corporates sponsoring. So there was no cost for the schools. We also have AWS giving their cloud space for us, again, as an in-kind. So that's the whole idea for now, to find these supporters and make it available to students and teachers at no cost, if possible.
Okay, thanks, Saranga. There's also similar question that's come, well, for all three. So perhaps I'll start though with Steve and Jordan. Is Code Avengers, how can Indian students and schools access Code Avengers?
Code Avengers is accessible by all students that have an internet connection. We understand that in some areas, that might be limited, but Code Avengers does have ways where we can support those schools. We do have a team that is looking over Asia in general, that they will be able to provide that support and implementation and training towards schools in India and throughout the rest of the region.
Thanks, Jordan. Tim, over to you. Those Indian students and school leaders interested in Education Perfect, what are their opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have quite a number of schools in India that use Education Perfect. We have quite a large library of content. So the schools that are using Education Perfect in India are either curating their own content that's suitable for their specific schools, or they're using the Indian version of US Common Core. I understand it's a slight variation of that. And also there's a lot of Cambridge schools that are following the Cambridge IGCSEs that also use Education Perfect in India. So we've got two models, a B2C, so independent learner. So as a student, I could log into Education Perfect and use the program independently of a school. And then we have a B2B model where schools subscribe to the platform, and that's where it's primarily designed to enhance a teacher-student relationship. So students would use the program, teachers receive the data, and then can support the student on their learning journey.
Thanks, Tim. There's another question related to that, which has popped up earlier as well, and I'll let you answer this one. Does Education Perfect, oops, it's dropped down a bit. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through. Does Education Perfect offer the entire content for IB and Cambridge curricula?
Big question, great question. Now, I'm not a curriculum expert. I wish I could give this answer nice and concisely. So we have PYP and MYP within the International Baccalaureate. We're in the process of developing the diploma program, but it's still incomplete. However, a lot of schools are using the content still to teach various aspects of the diploma program. So we've really got 2/3 of the IB covered. And then I think, Ben, there was one other question. Was that around Cambridge?
Oh, sorry, Cambridge as well. Yeah.
And Cambridge, yeah. So Cambridge we do have a full offering for, and that'll cover year 5 right through to year 12.
Great. Thanks, Tim. Saranga, a question for you. What other exciting projects are you working on? Curious is the most impressive.
Oh, there's a bunch of projects happening in the lab. So the best way is to visit our webpage, www.ahlab.org. There's so many different projects. There's a team of 26 people developing projects from technologies to support people with disabilities, to support kids who are into learning, as well as support older adults to live independently. So these are the 3 main categories of application areas we are working on. But the best way is to visit the website, and you'll see the videos, images, descriptions, and lots of details.
Great, thank you, Saranga. And we'll share that website as well. Jordan, I think you've touched on this, but it's been asked again. Maybe we'll just emphasize this point. Can we download Code Avengers, and can we learn on our own also?
That's a very good question. I guess the experience that Code Avengers has in areas where internet connection is limited, we have, I guess, had this request in the past, specifically use cases in Latin America. We don't have the ability to, I guess, offer Code Avengers 100% offline, but we do have, I guess, tools and guidelines to help teachers, reinforce the concepts that students, if they have limited access, will be able to learn, to start. But we have a whole bunch of what we call unplugged or offline activities that can reinforce a lot of those concepts, especially for students that, don't have access all the time to the internet. So it's kind of like a hybrid model that we've developed, for those specific use cases.
Thanks, Jordan. Back to you, Tim. A question here. How do you support the teachers who have a lack of online teaching experience?
It's a great question. And it's been something that we've been forced to almost reassess during the COVID period, where teachers were really, in many schools, forced overnight to have to go not just into a blended learning environment, but entirely online. So we have we're just under 50 full-time teachers on staff just running professional development, and they are working with schools right around the world, running professional development. So we typically will create a professional learning program either with an individual teacher or with a department or with a school, and that charters out a course to build capability within teachers. The reality is all teachers within a department are going to be different. They're all on a bit of their own journey, and I think it's really important to reflect that in whatever sort of professional learning that we offer. So we've got a fantastic team that are a lot smarter than I am and very, very capable, and so we put it in their very capable hands.
Perfect. Thank you, Tim. This one, hi, Steve and Jordan. What is your view about education needs post-COVID? Do you think Code Avengers will continue to be popular when students come back to their normal classroom teaching and learning environments?
Steve, did you want to answer this one, or do you want to? you don't mind if I do?
What's happened over the last 10 to 12 months, we've sort of seen the whole education industry pivot really quickly, and Code of Avengers and everybody today has been able to take advantage of that, but it's going to be the next 12 months or what comes following this, which will be the really interesting one. And I think Code of Avengers is well placed to take advantage of that, not just because everybody is talking about technology and such, but also because, as Jordan mentioned, we have those offline activities, we have that hybrid model, and I think being able to offer that in-person, face-to-face classroom as well as that offline platform, that's kind of the model that's going to be successful in the future. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. There's another question for Code Avengers. What do you think Code Avengers' key strengths are in comparison to your competitors?
For me, I guess, Jordan, you jump in too, mate, but I guess the two things that stand out for Code Avengers against some of our competitors is one, that teacher support. I don't think a lot of other platforms out there do that and offer that. And, I know as a teacher and, being involved in education, it's not easy to learn a new skill and then have to teach it. So the support that Code Avengers can provide teachers to face this new challenge is very impressive. And then I think the other side is that, we are one platform where you can study from, K to 12. We've got the whole gambit there. So from the young learners to the more experienced high school learners, you can stay on the same platform and learn your basic data representation and, that sort of beginner's stuff all the way through to your JavaScript and your Python. So it's, the journey is there for you to take. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. This one, back to Saranga. You mentioned that this project hasn't been expanded internationally yet. Do you have a presence on Facebook, Instagram, where student users' activity are updated regularly so young students in other countries can be inspired?
Yeah, we do have a Facebook page, Instagram, and LinkedIn. By the way, this project has been there for only 18 months, so we are just starting to be up and running. But we do have all these channels. Plus, people do send requests through direct channels, and then we try to respond. And very soon, the hope is to take it out of New Zealand and set up in places where people can really take advantage of this, including in Asia, where even having access to computers is not that widespread. So we want to bring this into those places, but for now we put stories, we have a blog, wonderful projects that the students here in New Zealand does, so as to inspire the rest. I can share all these links.
Okay, thanks, Saranga. We're almost out of time. There's one more question, and this is a pretty broad one, but I'll let anyone who wants to answer this in 30 seconds or less. Do you think digital learning is here to stay?
I'll jump in if you like.
Yeah, go for it, Tim.
Look, absolutely. But I think it really comes down to understanding the why of digital learning. I think the temptation now is to sort of want to go back and get a bit of whiplash to what we had previously. So I think understanding the why, understanding how we can alleviate teachers' workload, help teachers become more effective through better data, better insights, and therefore better equipped to engage with students. That needs to be where we leverage technology. So using technology more effectively in a more humanizing way, I think, not just using technology as a substitute for what we do currently. Yeah.
Steve or Jordan, would you like to add anything else to that in 15 seconds?
I guess technology, we have to view it as something that supports the teacher and isn't there to replace the teacher. We believe that the teacher's ability to teach is enhanced by technology, and the technology isn't there to replace them or totally remove them from the classroom. So yeah, teachers will always be important, and technology is there to support them.
Great. Thanks, Jordan. I think that's a pretty good note to end the session on. Again, thanks to everyone. Really appreciate your time. Ka kite ana.
Thank you.
Ngā